Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Targran and I'm here to present to you another episode of Lore of League of Legends. There are many champions in the league bound by their blood, but there are a few who are as vicious and bloodthirsty as the Blood Brothers. Darius, the Hand of Noxus, and Draven, the Glorious Executioner. Enjoy. Noxus is a brutal land where strength is glorified and weakness punished harshly. Nobody looks after orphans or cripples. That is why, when his parents died, Darius had to stand up and look after himself and his younger brother. If he would be unable to protect them, they would only probably end up as a couple of beggars. Darius, however, stood up to his own expectations. He did all he could, and by the time he had grown up, he was already well trained, disciplined, and toughened up. The praise of strength was almost like a mantra to him. He would repeat it every day and live according to that rule only. Because of his expectations that he had of himself, Darius could easily be compared to a veteran soldier with his skills. The young man has been highly valued by his commanders, due to the set of abilities he has developed prior to joining the military. Month after month, he had been slowly climbing up the chain of command. A true test of the man's resolve would come a few months later, during a huge battle between forces of Noxus and Demacia. While Noxians had been constantly pushing on the enemy positions, Demacians had been able to push them away. Their efforts seemed pointless, and most troops had already been exhausted by the battle, at this point already outnumbered. Captain of the commanding forces of the Noxus had realised that winning this particular battle would be too hard to be worth losing another man, just throwing them at the enemy. He had ordered all of his troops to retreat and regroup. This had infuriated Darius. He had always been taught that only strength should be promoted, and such cowardly acts punished. Breaking the formations, Darius had charged forward, swinging his gigantic axe at his commander. His head would fall down to the ground, but Darius did not pay any attention to that. He'd already been leading the charge himself. Many soldiers had been inspired by this display, many had been just too afraid to stay back. The battle had been long and difficult, but ultimately the troops, led by Darius, had won. He'd seized that opportunity and used his former companions and now loyal soldiers to start his own campaign against Demacia. Actions of his soldiers had devastated part of the Demacian lands, causing them to redirect even more troops to dealing with Darius's little company. Darius had already proven his might at the battlefield and had decided that he was worthy of returning to his home Noxus. But upon arriving there, he realised something. While Noxus is promoting pure strength and perfection, the city-state is riddled with weakness. Nobles who worked for their personal desires and not the well-being of the city-state were one of the many reasons that they've stopped Noxus from developing even further. Seeking to help Noxus on its way to greatness, Darius promised to reshape Noxian leadership. He has found out which members of the Noxian High Command were not true patriots, and has removed them from the positions they had. Quite literally. In his work, Darius has allied himself with Jericho Swain, and supported his rise to power since the earliest days. In Swain he saw a leader with mind, determination and power, to bring Noxus to its full glory. Allied with the master tactician, they worked together to unite the nations behind his cult of true strength. While Darius is all about getting the job done, Draven is quite different in many respects. He's always craved for fame, recognition and glory. He has first followed in the footsteps of his older brother, joining the Noxian military, but it soon proved not to be enough for Draven. Of course, winning a battle was always giving some satisfaction, but for him it was not enough. He wanted everyone to praise him, to know his name. Military leaders have never appreciated those who want to look better than others. They're just soldiers after all. Draven's flair and enthusiasm were vastly underappreciated, and that did not please him to the point of quitting the military and looking for another place to shine. Surprisingly, he found it in the prison system of the Noxus. When looking for an easy way to share Draven with the world, he'd been offered a position of an executioner, and he gladly accepted it. It was his opportunity. Draven, with his cunning mind, had a plan of turning grim ceremony of execution into something more fabulous. People did not want to weep watching criminals die. They needed a spectacle. At his first execution, Draven had shocked everyone when he released the prisoner and told him to run. He let him run for a good few minutes, and when the prisoner was almost able to flee from Draven's sight, Almost. One perfectly tossed axe had torn skin and bones of the prisoner, killing him almost instantly. Since then, Draven has only improved just as he wanted. He turned executions into performance that everyone wanted to see. All of his executions were turned into a show in which the prisoner was given a chance to save his own life, if he was able to run away from Draven. They've never succeeded, but they were always trying their best while Draven was busy entertaining crowds. The way of executions has drawn the attention of many, and that was exactly what he wanted: recognition. He was a celebrity now. As his popularity grew, his ego was inflating with it. He's quickly dropped dark clothes of execution for flashy, bright costumes. Draven has also developed many signature moves: bold, flashy, and deadly. Every execution has drawn more and more spectators, which has only ensured Draven in feeling that it was time to move on. Noxus was not enough for him. There were still people who did not see Draven and did not know who he was. That couldn't be. He'd packed his axes and made his way to the Institute of War in order to join the League of Legends. And that is me done for this particular video. If you enjoyed the video this time, let us know by hitting that like button down below and adding it to your favourites. You could also head over to the Facebook page and like us, follow us on Twitter, or go back and watch all the previous episodes. And as always, I'll see you next time.